Welcome back to our channel. This is Daniel
and Nubia, and today we're going to be sharing with you guys tips based off of our experience on how to prepare for a home water birth.
Get ready.
Okay, so these are in no particular order. Tip number 1 is do not tell anybody that you're having a water birth, especially if it's your first baby. Be very careful, very selective of who you're telling you're going to have a home water birth because, people are going to be concerned and they're going to be like, are you serious? Like, it hurts so bad and this and that, different reasons. And then you might start thinking to yourself like, oh, did I make the right decision? Should I go through with this? Can my body handle it? I had so many different people tell me different things, like, you're so small, like, are you sure you're going to be able to get the baby out, and so many different things, and I was so discouraged. So I'm like, you know what, I'm like, from this point on, I was a couple months already, I'm like, I'm not telling anybody that I'm having a home birth because, again, I don't want other people's opinions or stories to discourage my decision that I know this is exactly what I want for my family. Do your research, make sure this is what you want, and if it is, and you're at the point of like, okay, this is what I want a home water birth, and you're solid on that, just be very careful with who you're sharing this with.
Tip number 2, here we go. Alright, so tip number 2 is if you know you want a home birth, I encourage you to go to a class on home birth so that you can learn about it, so that you can know what a home birth entails, so that you can learn some of those details so that you know and are strong in your mind when it comes time. Even if you don't have a home birth class near you, you can go online and watch a video about home birth classes. You want to just watch and learn and glean and see if this is really something you want. So educate yourself basically in what you're wanting to do.
It was also helpful for me when I was in labor to know what was going on in my body, so I understood what my body was feeling and going through, so I wasn't just getting anxious and wondering what's going on.
For me specifically as a man, I had a ton of unknowns, and so to go to some of these birthing classes and just learn some of the things to expect, that helped relieve some of the stress from me, and mentally being prepared so that I could be strong when she came to those transition phases and the different types of, contractions and the beginning ones to when it gets closer towards the arrival of the baby. So yeah, very helpful.
Tip number 3, pray over your water birth. This was so important for me. There was 3 specifics that I remember as of right now that I prayed for to God. And the first one was that I wanted my baby to be born during the day. I did not want a tear between the vaginal area and the...
Babe, really? They're grown adults. The vagina and the butt.
Okay. I'm trying to... Okay, anyway. So I didn't want to tear in that area specifically. Okay, and I didn't. I still tore on the surface area, but not in that area. And the third one was I was praying that the cord would not be wrapped around his neck, which my midwife said is a very normal thing, but I was still praying for that.
Very common.
Yeah, a very common thing. And so those were my 3 specifics, and God answered all 3 of them for me. And so I would just encourage you guys to pray and ask God for your specifics and pray over your water birth. And I also prayed for peace. That was my biggest thing, was praying for peace, and I did have peace. I was still in pain, yes, but overall there was peace. Okay, tip number 4, you need a hype man, because like I said before, it's very mentally hard, I guess, to stay positive sometimes. I needed somebody to encourage me constantly, and for me, my hype man was my husband. And every time I'd have negative thoughts going through my head, basically he would just encourage me and remind me and just tell me that I can do it. My body was made to do this. Many women have been doing this for years and years, and God has made my body to do it. My body knows what to do. And yeah, and that really helped fight off the negative thoughts, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, on that, I think something that's important is like for the partner, the husband, to be mentally prepared and calm and to know what your spouse wants, your partner wants, to be able to really reassure her of those things she shared with you, so that when she feels like, oh man, I can't do this, you can just encourage her.
And if there's something specific that you want your husband or partner to tell you, then tell them that and communicate that. For me, it was the phrase, "You're stronger than you think you are." And so I just asked him, like, hey, whenever I'm having negative thoughts, can you just reassure me and tell me that I'm stronger than I think I am? Because for me, that was something that just, put that positive thinking back into my head, like, yeah, like I am strong, I can do this. And that specific phrase was very helpful to me. Okay, the next tip is to watch videos on YouTube that are going to encourage your decision in having a water birth, because again, it's very easy, especially if it's your first one, to get discouraged and to think, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this, because you've never done it before. You don't know if you can take the pain. And so what I did was I just watched a lot of water birth videos online, and it really encouraged me. Or I watched other women talking about, having a home water birth, and anything positive that I can listen to or watch and that could reaffirm my decision in wanting this for me and my family, then I would watch it or listen to it. And it was so helpful and so encouraging, and I felt like pumped up after. Like I felt like strong, I can do it. Anything that's going to encourage you, watch it.
Yeah, I remember showing me a few of them, and it helped me too.
Yeah.
Just to see some of the things that happen.
Okay, the next tip was playing worship music while I was laboring. That might work for you, it might not. It really depends on your personality. Like, do you like music? Do you want music playing while you're laboring, or do you just want quiet? It really depends, but for me, I love music, and I felt it was also kind of like a distraction to allow me to focus somewhere else other than the pain that I was feeling when I was laboring. And I was advised by my birthing team to create a playlist, of music that really just, gets me going, pumps me up, makes me happy. And I didn't do it. I procrastinated, waited too long, but when they got to my house, they're amazing. And one of the girls already had a playlist for birthing and laboring, and so she just played that worship music playlist that she had, and it was just the best. The next one is to get a lot of rest. For me, my midwife, she was basically guiding me along the way when my contractions started coming, and she basically just told me, go back to sleep, get as much rest as you can. Obviously that's hard to do, but I would just try and lay down and just kind of rest my body as much as I could. And I do believe that that really helped when it came time for me to push, because you need to conserve as much energy as you can and save that up. And I do feel like it was really helpful also having my midwife there to kind of guide me. That really gave me a peace of mind with being able to rest, because I knew that I had my midwife who was like my coach throughout all of this and just telling me what to do. And so when she just told me go back to sleep, I knew I didn't have to worry about counting my contractions and all that.
I think also as you get closer to the birth, our midwife, continued to encourage Nubia, it's really important to take naps and be very well rested, because you don't know if that baby's coming in that night that's coming, or even during that day.
All right, Noah came to join us. Let's see if this will work with him. My next piece of advice would be not to keep track of how far along you are, how dilated you are. What happens is that you can create expectations in your mind, right? And if you don't meet those expectations, then it can be very self-defeating, mentally defeating, and it's very discouraging. And so I think that my midwife was so wise not to tell me any of that, because I know myself and I would have just been fixed on the number. So it can be very defeating to have this expectation and not have it met. So it really helped me to just focus on my environment, to focus in the moment, and to not just base it off of a number that you can't really count on because it's so unpredictable. My next tip is to be mindful of the people that you have in the room, because this is really important. For us, it was just me and Daniel and then my birthing team. We had just moved here to Hawaii and my mom wasn't able to make it. And so it ended up just being me and Daniel, and honestly, it was perfect. It was a beautiful experience for just us, and it was very intimate. You want to be careful of who you have in the room, just because you want to make sure that it's people that are going to encourage you and not stress you out or create this, tension in your environment. You want to make sure that it's people that are going to support you and not cause any confusion or stress, because you really want to be as relaxed as possible. The next and last thing that was really helpful for me, as some of you guys maybe have already seen, was that I was able to eat. My midwife actually told me to prepare snacks ahead of time so that I would have them there for, when I was in labor. And I can't tell you how helpful it was for me that I was actually able to eat. I don't know how I would have been able to go on if I didn't have anything to eat, especially after throwing up. That would have been really, really difficult. When you throw up, it takes so much energy out of you that it would have been so difficult for me to continue on laboring and pushing Noah out if I didn't have food, if I couldn't, refuel myself. Snacks that Daniel got for me was yogurts, like the ones that you can drink, and then cuties, because I love cuties, love oranges. Something real easy and simple that you can just snack on.
Also, she didn't have to have the IV because they were also giving her water the whole time. So did you share that with them?
They were. Yeah, my birthing team was, honestly, they were just amazing. We got so blessed with them. They were such an incredible team. Like, I don't think I could have asked for a better team. Like, they were just amazing. Some of you guys probably saw that in the video, but they were just the absolute best. Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah. So those were our tips for you guys based off of our experience. If you already had a water birth and have additional tips that helped you, please leave those on the comments down below, because I think they'll be helpful to somebody that's going to be doing this for the first time, and I'm sure they want all the tips that they can get. And if this is your first time having a water birth, I wish you guys the very best, and I hope that you guys have an amazing experience. Be easy on yourself, and I wish you guys the best. We wish you guys the best, and we hope that this encouraged you and helped you in your journey of having a water birth.
Be easy on one another too.
Yes. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video.